Alright, how's it going, guys? This is going to be my out-of-box review for the Master Grade Jegan. It is the first of what we can only assume will be probably multiple Jegans to come out. There's been a lot of talk about different versions that people want to come out and which ones might be P-Bandai. Some people are assuming that probably the majority of the different variations will all be P-Bandai. I'm kind of going to guess right now that it's going to be similar to the Master Grade Gym Sniper 2, where we've had probably about 50-50 of the different variations that have come out so far be standard release, like we had the Gym Sniper Custom as in the Gym Command, and then we had other ones that were also just P-Bandai variations as well. So that would be my guess about what the future of this kit is, but let's just get into talking about this Master Grade here. So it is a very nice, very solid Master Grade, very quick Master Grade, a very fast build. This one really only took me, it took me much shorter than it usually takes me to build, just snap up a Master Grade here just for the review for you guys. And that is because, as you'll notice from the outer armor there, the armor for this kit is pretty simple. And I remember not too long ago when I reviewed the P-Bandai Master Grade Hazel, I had a lot of people complaining in the comments saying that it really looked like just a big high grade. And I really wonder if those same people are going to be coming in and saying the same thing about this kit, because it's also very lacking in external detail. There's some nice bits here and there, to be sure, nice little bits that just are kind of very finely molded, but overall, it's not really the most detailed thing. Now, some people might be saying, well, that's just because it's a grunt suit, so they're just not really going to be as detailed, I guess, as other things from this series. But considering the other mobile suits in Master Grade that we're going to be having from this series, the new Verka, the Sazabi Verka, extremely detailed. The upcoming RE100 Yakudoga is also like almost overly detailed. So I think in comparison, this one is definitely going to be looking pretty plain. That said, super solid Master Grade. So before we get into talking about what all you're going to get with this kit, I just want to say a big thank you to US Gundam Store. As always, guys, they're awesome. Do check the link to their site down below. They made this review possible, and so show them some love and show them some support. So here, what you're going to be getting with this kit is a sticker sheet. No dry transfers, no water slides, just stickers. As you can see, I've used a few, but not really very many of them. Of all like the caution markings and things, I really haven't used all that many at all. There's still a couple of the larger markings there, a whole bunch of numbers. I threw a few there on the kit, which you guys we'll see there, but that's just to show you guys kind of how they look. They don't look too bad against the light green. These stickers always against a light colored, they don't look too bad, but against any darker color plastic, they're not really going to look very good at all. We do also, of course, have a action-based connector here. We've got two clear pink beam saber effect parts, although you really only need one because it only has one beam saber handle that are stored in the side skirt, so you will have one extra that you can then just give to a different kit or something if you want. We've got the Jegan shield here, very cool, very nice detail there on the back as well, and then this just connects onto the back of the arm and it can rotate and everything like that, so it's going to be stuck on the side of the arm like so, and just nice detail, the red little missiles poking out of there, everything. It works for a pretty nice shield. Then we got the beam rifle. It's just very dark in color with the exception of the one little clear blue part in there for the camera. And then as you can see, there's a designated trigger finger hand attachment specifically for this gun that's new to this kit, aside from the recycled hand runner, which is the only recycled runner for this kit, I'll point out, is just actually the hand runner and the beam saber runner, I guess, if you count that. But so the hands and the beam sabers are the only parts that are not brand new for this kit. Anyway, really cool rifle here for this. I like that. Of course, the magazine can be removed if you want. There's no spares or anything to be stored anywhere else on the kit. So this is pretty much just it, but it is very nice. And then other hand options on the kit now. Currently, I've got the closed fist, but we do also have a set of just open hand, and these are just swappable fingers, so the thumb is just on a ball joint there. And then we've got a set of trigger finger hands. Now these aren't really meant to be used with this kit because you have its own trigger finger hand attachment for this rifle, but if you are going to use any different weapons or something like that, you can use these. But these also do have a little tab in there, so they might not work with other things. You might just have to just cut that tab out of there if you wanted to give it some other custom weapon or something. And then just regular holding hands for holding the beam saber. Now there is one of each of those hands for the left and the right. And that is it for the accessories, so let's just get into talking about some of the finer details and articulation. One thing is there under the visor, which looks very nice in clear blue, I must say. One of the stickers is a little blue sticker there for the center of that, and I wish that was a foil sticker. I wish they would have given us a foil sticker for that. It would have shined nicer. As you can see, it just comes from there, so it's blue, but it's like a matte finish, so it's really not all that shiny. But that same clear blue is also visible up in that little camera there, also in that camera there kind of behind this front part on the head, and then also on the back of the head as well. There's some clear blue in there for that, but no stickers for any of those if you're the kind of person who likes using stickers for those head cameras. Really cool little detail here with the pod on the side of the head. And one thing I do want to point out as well here is about these chest vents. I mentioned this in the unboxing that some people were displeased about these chest vents being the same color as the rest of the body. It just looks like it's not very well part separated, and it would just make more sense for them to be in a different color, even though canonically they are just meant to be just green like that. If you did want to paint those, this whole front part here is all one piece. I was thinking that just that separate part there in for the vents would be a separate piece, easy enough to paint, but if you want to paint the little vents in there, you will have to mask this section off, because this whole front part there is all just one piece. So if you were wondering about that. Now, onto the articulation. So the head will go up to there, very nice. I think that will be good for some pretty good flying in space posing, and then down to there, all perfectly good. In the stomach section, we have a really nice crunch forward, but it doesn't go back at all. So if you wanted to bend that back, it's just not going to work. Side to side, it also doesn't really go side to side, but what it does is kind of bend forward and to the side. So that, I think, does look kind of actually more natural in a way. But if you wanted to just bend it straight to the side, it's just not going to go. Also, the cockpit hatch will open just very simply. You just pull that down. We've got our seated pilot figure inside there. That's pretty much it. Very simple. Of course, this just rotates here at the waist as well. Shoulder is pretty nice. It swings out forward like that, and then we can move the shoulder armor up, and just nice color separation here with that too, with the yellow inset inside there. Does look very nice. And then the arm itself will come up all the way to there, so very nice upward mobility there in the shoulder as well. And then it's just going to work pretty normally, just a rotation there at the top, and then a double joint here in the elbow to give you a nice full bend. They've hidden the seam line in the arm here by just making it a panel line down the side. And then the wrist is just, as usual, just on a ball joint. As I mentioned before, the thumb is on a ball joint as well, with one bend there in the middle digit of the thumb, and then the fingers are just swapped. We don't have any front skirts or back skirts, so we can skip over that, but the side skirts will move up and down perfectly fine like that. You can open this up, and your grenades are there, but you can't really do anything too much with that. It's just kind of cool, I guess, that you can open that up if you wanted. And over on the other side, as I mentioned before, we have our handle for the beam saber, so you just pop that out, and you can take that out, and that's just handheld. Now the hips have a joint that will swing down, each the left and the right side. They're not connected, so you can move them separately, so that will swing forward for some nicer range of movement. Sideways mobility also not going to be a problem. You can get that perfectly far out to the side, and very strong. That's one thing about this kit, is the simplicity of it, and the way that it's designed. I think especially the inner frame is relatively simple, but that keeps it very strong, and it's also very nicely detailed, as we saw in the unboxing, where we saw photographs of just the frame. Sorry that I can't show that to you in this review, but the frame is pretty nicely detailed if you're the kind of person that does like to detail up painting the frames and everything like that. Before moving on to the legs, I just want to go back around here to the backpack. Nothing really moves on here except for these top bits, and they kind of move around a little bit, but it's not really for any purpose. You're pretty much most of the time going to want them just set in their kind of standard position like that. But again, nice color separation with a little bit of yellow in there, and the yellow inside the thruster bells looks really good. This little detail here is nice, that's actually like a cutout detail in there, so that's nice. And then because of the lack of front and back skirts, obviously bringing the leg all the way up is not going to be a problem, and especially if you swing that down and bring it up, you can get a really nice upward bend there, and then full bend here at the knee as well. So very, very nice movement here in the waist and knee joint. It's a shame that this little bit of knee armor doesn't like really separate or anything. That's just kind of there, but anyway, it does all work very nicely. Down here in the ankles, you'll also notice this little tiny bit of yellow there in the toes, which is a very cool little accent, pretty unusual. Side to side bend at the ankles, not going to be a problem at all. When you bend that to the side though, it's going to be like pressing out this bit of armor here. So that's just kind of, you just pop that back into place. These legs here is where I really noticed the kind of lack of detail, as this was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts of armor just like around this, and it just seemed like I was using these very big parts, very plain parts with not a lot of detail on them for this, and I was just kind of like, well, that's just kind of, okay. But again, nice color separation in here for these little bits of yellow. That does help to break it up, I think. Down here for the foot, you aren't going to have any toe pointing down, but the toe does move up a little bit there. That's going to be about it. There's no bend in this middle section. The whole foot itself can come back to there, though, which is not bad, and forward all the way to there like that, which is very nice. And lastly, this little thruster here at the back of the leg can also move a little bit if you need. It doesn't really do much of anything. It's just if you need to move the foot back, it does kind of move back out of the way. While we're here, we'll take a look here up underneath the feet as well. Some nice detail, but this is just like one solid piece, so there's no color separation. If you wanted to paint that, you'll have to mask those little bits on there. So obviously I think the biggest negative of this kit is just going to be that simplicity of it. If you are used to kind of master grades being a little bit more complex, then this is not really going to be that, unfortunately. But while most might find this kit to be a little bit lacking in complexity and surface detail, I think it is also a very solid master grade, like I've been saying. It holds a pose very well. All the articulation feels really solid. I don't really feel any weakness in anywhere, with like the legs being heavy and like being weighed down, or any arms drooping or anything like that. And as it is, it doesn't really have any heavy accessories. Now, different variations of it might have larger accessories, especially if we're talking about like prototype Stark Jegan. That's what I'm talking about. If that comes out, do I think this will suffer at all from the extra weight added onto the shoulders for that? Probably not, really, and it'll probably be just fine. So anything that might come out for different variations of this kit, I think will also be equally solid and sturdy, so that's also good too. And it is also fair to point out that not everyone, including me, doesn't always like an excess amount of super detail everywhere. Sometimes those nice open spaces are pretty just fine. Then of course there's also people who want to go in and add a bunch of their own details. So if you're that kind of person that fits into that category, there's a lot of open space on this kit for you to go in and add plenty of details of describing and adding panel lines and details and all of that. There's a lot of space for you to work with this. And then as for the accessories, I mean, it's pretty bare bones. You get one shield, one beam rifle, one beam saber, and some hand option parts. That's pretty much it. So in a lot of ways, I'm finding this kit really comparable to the Master Grade Gym Command, which came out at the beginning of this year. Both super solid kits, very bare bones in terms of the accessories, but I mean, exactly what you would expect for just a grunt gym suit, basically. But both really nice, just really good value, I think, for the money. If you want just a simple, solid Master Grade to just have as a grunt suit. Now, not everyone's into grunt suits, so I mean, it's obviously not going to appeal to everyone, but those people who are, I think you're definitely getting some really nice master grades out of Bandai as of late. And with that said, I would also rate this as a really nice kit for people who are maybe just getting into Gunpla and maybe are a little bit worried, oh, master grade's a little bit too complex for me, I can't really take on a master grade yet. This is a very simple master grade, and it's a really nice master grade that I think you won't be disappointed with. There are other simple master grades, but I think maybe they don't end up being able to do quite as much as this one can, and this one is very capable and really nice. So I think if you're a beginner or just getting into Gunpla, or maybe you've built a couple of high grades or something and you want to get into building a master grade, this one is very affordable and really nice, so definitely worth checking out. So that is pretty much going to do it for the review, guys. There's really not a whole lot much else to say about it. It's nice, just simple, solid kit for 40 bucks, plus a few extra bones there for an action base to make it up and flying in space and doing some cool poses to really bring out the nice articulation of the kit. I think you're definitely getting some good value for your money, so I would definitely recommend it if you're a big fan of the Jegan. And I know there's a lot of people who have been waiting for a Master Grade Jegan for a long time, so I don't think you'd be disappointed. Really, I don't know what you really could have expected much more out of this, except again maybe just a little bit more surface detail, or the inner frame to be a little bit more complicated, more similar to the Master Grade GM kits that we've been getting recently, which are using the Gundam 2.0 inner frame. This one's definitely simpler, but I don't know. Like I said, I think it works really well. And so I think probably most people will not be disappointed with this kit. So thank you once again to USA Gundam Store for sponsoring this review. Thank you to you guys for watching. Do leave any other further questions and comments you have down below. Anything that I missed or anything that you think should also be added, or you have questions, something that I didn't answer in the review, feel free to ask that in the comment section. Thank you guys for that. And I'll see you in the next review. Bye-bye. Hey! Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, if you want to check the kit out for yourself, you can head over to USA Gundam Store. Use that coupon code ZakuAurelius10. Save yourself 10%. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.